Hey guys, welcome back. So today I want to tackle a topic that I found a lot of new writers are really nervous about, which is finding beta readers, or beta readers in general, because I feel like they don't have a firm idea of what beta readers are, what they do, what you need to do, and everything involved. And if that is you, welcome, and I hope you'll get something out of this. And before I start, I want to mention that if I don't cover something, like any of your questions that you want answered, if I don't cover something, leave it in the comments and I will get to it as soon as possible. And if it's a common theme, I can tackle that in another video. So yeah, let's just jump right in to first what beta readers are. They are fellow writers who critique their work, who critique your work. That's it. And what that means is that they read your manuscript for free in exchange for you reading theirs. Okay? So it's you do this for me, I do this for you, sort of thing. They read it for free. Now, I want you to remember that when you come across beta readers who are saying, oh, you need to pay this amount of money for me to read your book. They are not beta readers. They're trying to be editors, which is not the same thing, because editors are professionals who do this as their job. Beta readers are fellow writers who do this as part of their editing process. Kind of like what we discussed in editing stages, okay? So keep that in mind. Now, something that's similar to a beta reader is a critique partner. And you may have heard of this. A critique partner is someone who is ideally at the beginning of the process of writing your book and ideally has seen it from the very start, but they don't have to be. They're more of a writing buddy sort of thing. And you guys throw ideas at each other like, hey, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? Oh, how about this sentence? Well, I don't like how this works. How about this? So you interact with them with a deeper level. And they're super helpful. They're very encouraging. And I really enjoy them, but they're harder to come by, unfortunately. But they're also not necessary. If you can find one, that is great. It will be very good in the long run. So don't disregard them, but we're talking specifically about beta readers who you see just like once or twice or something, okay? You're not interacting with them in a deep level like you would with critique partners. Critique partners are more like writing friends, if that makes sense. Okay, so how exactly a beta reader works is this. Like I already said, they read your book in exchange for you reading theirs. And you read attentively their book they give you to read. You read attentively and give them the best feedback you can so that it's worth their time and worth your time. And you ideally want to cover all the editing stages that I covered in my series, which you can check out in the description. I will leave that there. And so something you want to keep in mind with beta readers is that they are fellow writers and they have their own opinions, their own dogmas about things sometimes. They might disregard your writing style or your goals, so you need to bear that in mind before you take anything to heart what they say. So I will cover that in a future post, but I want you to keep that in mind. That's very important. And now let's talk about how you get beta readers. So it feels like some wide world out there and you're just like a little fish in the ocean sort of thing. But it's okay, I have a few options for you. These are 3 websites that I love and I've gotten such great feedback from all of them. And I'll kind of show you the pros and cons to them, what I like, what I didn't like about them. And I'll leave all 3 in the description if you want to check them out. So the first one is christianwriters.com. And as the name suggests, it's a community of Christian writers. And you can make writer friends, meet critique partners, read beta readers, and you give and receive both the spiritual and writing help and encouragement. And you can get your chapters critiqued, and you can critique other people's work. It is a great place. I have not felt at home as much as I have in this community. It is so encouraging. They help you with anything. Even things that I felt really like, I don't want to post this. I don't know if this will make me sound so amateur. We're all amateur. They have said that sometimes. And it's like, we're all amateurs. We're all trying here. And so they're very encouraging. And then there's JerichoWriters.com. And they're another community of writers. These ones are based in England, and so a lot of the users are British. But there's people from all over the world. I think I also met someone from like Asia Minor or something using it too, so it's all over the world, but most of them are British, so you need to make sure you understand the differences between American and British spellings, the little quotes. Why did I forget what they were called? The little quote things. Yeah, I can't remember them. It just left my mind. But the little quote things, in Britain you only use one, and in America you use two. And so how that is used changes. So keep these in mind because it might be a little confusing. It was confusing for me at first, so I want you to be prepared. So for this one, I felt like it was a lot harder to find beta readers, and there's quite a lot of inappropriate things or things that I'm not comfortable reading. So you need to really make sure what you're reading will be fine with you and if they're fine with reading your stuff. So I'm just putting that out there. So make sure you discuss this with your potential beta reader before you start reading and are just like, I cannot read this. That has happened to me several times on there, just because they were older guys who were writing it, and there's some graphic imagery in there. I can read graphic imagery. It's just a couple things that bother me, like really, really bother me. I can read like the most gruesome battle scenes, but there are some things that I cannot read, like at all. So I had to stop reading because of some of that, and they were like, I was blessed enough to find some really good guys because they were like, no, it's okay. You're not comfortable with that? That's fine. We don't want to sear your conscience or something. And so we'll keep reading your book for you. And they were my first beta readers, and they were so great. Jericho Writers updated their website, and I lost touch with those guys, but I hope to find them again. But they were really awesome. And I like how organized this website is, so that's another thing that I really like. I haven't done any critiquing since they updated their website, so I don't know how accessible finding beta readers is now. But before it was kind of difficult, like I said, because there were so many people. You know, and most of them are not Christian because it is based in Britain, and so that made it a little challenging because all my books are Christian based. So that's why I preferred Christian writers to get like worldview feedback, if that makes sense. All right, the third one that I really like, I went on a tangent, didn't I? I'm getting back on track here. Here we go. So the third one is Critique Circle. So this one is super well organized, and I really enjoyed it. It was very easy to figure out how to use. I got very good feedback. This is chapter by chapter, which I'll talk about in a minute. Chapter by chapter. The only thing I did not like about this is you have a time frame. So whenever you critique other people's stuff, you earn points, which I love, so that people, like some people are just posting a million things and other people never get theirs read. In my experience, there's none of that because of the point system. Now, you need to read enough of other people's stuff to earn enough points to post another chapter. But when you post a chapter, there's these time frames. Like, this slot is open for this many people for this amount of time. And if you post your stuff in there early enough, like within that time frame, you're good to go. But if you're too late and it's already filled, or if the time frame has closed, you need to either earn more points by reading other people's stuff some more, or you need to wait till the next time slot. So this is really good for if you're a huge procrastinator, like I am, but it doesn't work very well if you are time sensitive and when you're under pressure you kind of like freeze up and can't do anything. That's also me, which makes it a big problem sometimes when I'm trying to do stuff, but keep that in mind. But other than that, really loved it. Very easy to leave critiques, very easy to contact people and make comments on things and conversations with people. Very easy to do. I love it, and the organization is just amazing. So it's another one you should check out. So all three of these are free to use and sign up. Some of them, like Critique Circle and Jericho Writers, there are premium plans where you get bonus stuff, but it's not limiting like I thought it would be. So that's really nice. And so which one you choose, or rather you should try all of them, because the more feedback, the better, you know. So which one you choose, or which ones you choose, will depend on the format of feedback you want. Because in my experience, there's whole chapter, whole manuscript, and chapter by chapter. Okay, I'll break this down. So the whole manuscript is kind of what it sounds like. You give your beta reader the entire thing. So you only give it to them once, and they read it, which is nice because you don't have to remember, oh, I need to give them a new chapter because it's Friday again. Like, you don't have to remember that. It's just a one-time thing, which is really nice for me because I don't have to remember to keep up with it. The unfortunate thing about it is that it's daunting for some people, or they take on so many that they never get to yours. And so since it isn't chapter by chapter, you need to send them reminders like, hey, have you read it yet? Have you read it yet? Are you reading it? Where are you at? Can I do anything to help? Is it working? Etc., etc., etc. So you need to keep them on top of it. But I personally find doing that a lot easier than setting up formatting, like I'll talk about it in a minute. But whole chapter, you give them your whole manuscript and they give you their whole manuscript. And so it makes it a lot easier because I can just go at my own pace. Usually I finish one in a month or so because I'm working on several at a time. But I really like this one. The version is chapter by chapter, where you upload one chapter at a time. And various readers will come along, read it, and leave feedback. This is great because for me, at least, I've gotten a wide range of writers with different experience, different tastes, different genres that they write, different worldviews. So it was really eye-opening for me to get all these different views and feedbacks and stuff. But like I mentioned just a moment ago, it's really hard for me to keep up with chapter by chapter because you need to, first of all, remember to upload it. Then you have to actually upload it, which is usually copy and paste into it. Then you have to do all the formatting and put it like in different categories and all this stuff. So I find that to be more work than the whole manuscript version, but that's just me. Maybe chapter by chapter would be easier for you. And another good thing actually about this is that you're more likely to get more in-depth details about your chapter. Like, people are more likely, especially in critique circle where you need to have a certain amount of words that you give feedback to in order to get a certain amount of points. What was I saying? Oh yeah, in order to get more details in your chapter, like, this is really good for that. So people will leave lots of feedback and you'll be like, okay, yeah, I was wondering about this, and they got it. Whereas in whole manuscript they might skip that page altogether or something. So I like to use a little bit of both just to get a variety in both feedback and amount of feedback. Another downside to this one, like, I'm going back and forth, I'm sorry guys. A downside to chapter by chapter is that if readers don't stick with you through your entire book, they are not going to be able to see all the little threads that you're weaving and see how they're woven and how well they're woven and how they're tied off at the end. So bear that in mind. I have had some people stay for the entire book. Well, actually not the entire book, because I stopped when I was close to the end because I was running out of time. But yeah, I've had a few people stay for the entire time and they were able to see all that, even though it was only chapter by chapter. So it depends on your readers. All right. So for the document format itself, there are 3 options if you're doing whole manuscript. These are the 3 most common ones. So the very most common one is the Word document. And this one is great because it is so common. So almost everybody knows how to use it. Almost everybody knows how to leave great comments on Word, how to use it, and how to just do the whole thing. With Word, you can leave sentence, like highlight a single sentence and then leave a comment on that. You can highlight an entire paragraph and leave a comment on that. You can highlight like a word or something at the end of a chapter and leave a whole chapter comment too. It's very versatile. I really love doing it. And with Word, you can even have a live document where all your different beta readers critique the same one. Just make sure to put on track changes just so that they don't accidentally delete, I don't know, a whole chapter or a paragraph or something, or accidentally rearrange something. So keep that in mind. But the live chapter is really interesting. I did that for one round of my Viking book editing, and that was really useful. I really liked that. But usually it's usually what happens is you send your beta reader a Word document that's not live. It's just a downloadable thing. They download it, they do all the stuff, and then they send it back to you. And so you get the document back with all the comments. And so that's how that's done with that. And then another common format is Google Docs. This one, I do not use it to write my stuff, so I don't really understand exactly how it works, but it is so simple, and that's what I really like about it. This is not as common as as Word documents, but I can still understand it and like figure it out and leave comments almost exactly the same way you can on Word. And I think for this one, let me see, I'm trying to remember how it works because I've only critiqued on a Google document once or twice, and I think it was live because I left comments and the writer whose stuff I was critiquing could comment back, but no one else was commenting on it. So I thought that was interesting. If you know how this works, leave it in the comments. I would love to learn how it works, so that I'm more knowledgeable about it, so I can critique other people's stuff better. Alright, so the last semi-common, this is not very common, but I have seen it. It's Adobe PDF. Now, it makes your manuscript look really professional, but unfortunately you can't, at least I don't know how to, leave any comments or feedback directly in the document. So, like I said, there might be a way to do this, I'm not sure, but since PDFs are so complicated, people are less likely to figure it out if they do not know how to use it. So because of this, you might instead get a Word document where the person is reading, okay, let's say page 2. In a Word document, they'll put page 2, blah, 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 blah. Whatever they're commenting on here, it will be in there. And instead of getting the PDF back with all the comments, you will get a separate Word document with just comments. And I've gotten that before. And it's fine, like I can see all the comments all at once, and that is nice. But it's harder because you need to match it up, like find what on earth they're talking about sometimes. So that makes it a little tricky. So if you want to do a PDF, please consider carefully before doing it and see if you can come up with a good feedback strategy beforehand. And this applies to all 3 of them, with the other 2 as well, so that no matter what you use, you make sure you have a good game plan with your beta readers, so that you both understand what's going on, how you want to receive feedback, how often you want to receive feedback, what format, etc. Make sure you discuss everything with them so there's not some crazy confusion. I've had that happen before, and it takes a while to sort out because you're like, what? What are you even talking about? Okay, I need to fix this now. That still doesn't make sense. Okay, let's... So it can be a huge mess. So make sure you always understand how you're going to get feedback. So, right. So, with all this stuff that I just talked about, and maybe with other people's comments too, you should be equipped to go out and get your stuff critiqued. It is not a big deal. It is just something that writers have to do. We can grow all we want in secret, or at least we think we grow in secret without anyone else reading it. Maybe except for your best friend who thinks everything you do is great. Or maybe they're that one best friend that's like, oh, everything you do is awful. But either. So if we don't go out and get our stuff read by peers or by editors, we're not going to learn how to write better. In order for us to improve, in order for our manuscripts to improve, we need to get feedback. And I realized how much I needed feedback when I tried to edit my Viking book, which is now published. If you want to check it out, I'll leave a link in the description for that. So stay tuned for future posts about sorting through feedback and how to tell whether or not it's applicable to your story or not. And if you have any more questions, if you have anything you want me to cover about this topic, also leave that in the comments and I will get to them. And I wish you a happy writing day. Bye guys.